All right, guys, we are live. Facts First podcast again. Chase, Jack, we are back together again. This would be episode, I guess, number 17 now. Going to do this one a little bit shorter than, our normal hour-long stuff, but we're going to touch on a few things. First thing, welcome, Jack.
What's up, everybody?
Good to be back on camera with you.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So, let's start off with what everybody asked. Last year, MLB season, Jack and I did the first promo, like the first duo package that Ghost Picks had done. And it was a big success. People loved when we teamed up and did MLB together because they would get a mixture of Jack's full card, my full card. And Jack and I have a lot of similar ways of doing things within the MLB. We focus a lot on bullpens and, closing pitchers. So people were able to capitalize when Jack and I were on the same play, make bigger wagers, and they were ultimately more successful because of it when they were on, a combo package between myself and Jack. So what we're going to do is starting to, Thursday, running it through Sunday, or for the first, 20 people that sign up, because we're not going to overload it. We're running a $1,500 promo. Our MLB seasons are typically $1,500 a piece. But this is going to be my full MLB season with postseason, as well as Jack's. That's premium and top tier plays. For $1,500, you get both seasons. It will be on the website starting tomorrow, and then it will run through Sunday or until we pull it down if we meet the cap of people. So that's what we're going to start with. And everybody jump on, go to the website, ghostpicksats.com. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, chase.ghostpicksats@gmail or jack.ghostpicksats@gmail. And let's kick it off. So, Jack, I know you want to do some NBA trade stuff, so let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's no secret, Chase. Some of these big trades that have been going on and the rumors, especially even this year between Jimmy Butler going to the 76ers. I know that was a big one, but I want to more talk about the things that we see maybe happening in the future. And one of the big ones I've really been harping on ever since 2016 is Whiteside from the Heat. That was just a terrible deal for the Heat to even get into. They signed him for a 4-year contract, $98 million in 2016, and he's just one of those players that just make a boatload of mistakes and just unreliable offensively. And I think they've been constantly trying to get rid of him, and just I don't think anyone wants to make the mistake that Heat did with that. And but I do expect him to be gone here within the next year or so.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think that, filling, they paid a lot of money for him too. So it wasn't just the sake of, having him not perform up to the level that they thought and making the mistakes that he did. That's a big financial mistake that they made. And I think now the teams that are showing even the slightest bit of interest, I don't know that they're willing to cut the check for him. And the Heat really, they have no direction right now as far as, we know Dwayne Wade's on his way out. There's not much that he could do. He could be a postseason presence if they, so make it that far. But the Heat are really going to be, they're really going to be at a true fork in the road is what they want to do with that franchise now that, he's probably going to be gone and Wade's on his way out just, for retirement purposes.
Yeah, and another guy, Tristan Thomas over in Cavs. The Cavs organization as a whole, I think, is just absolutely getting closed down ever since LeBron left. And I would definitely say that Kevin Love is kind of expected to be the centerpiece almost for that team. But even Tristan Thomas, he's a very reliable rebounder, a good screen setter. But he's another one of those guys, lots of money that got put into him, has $36 million left and 2 years on his contract. But I see him being gone from the Cavs also coming up.
And I think
the Cavs just have to make.
Didn't he date a Kardashian?
I think he did at one point. I don't know. Those Kardashians are all over all the NBA guys.
I'll tell you this: if you're an NBA player and you date a Kardashian, you might as well just light your career on fire because you might as well be dating the Antichrist. They are NBA career killers. Doesn't matter who you are. You date one of them, your career. I mean, look at Lamar Odom, like MVP guy, like potential future Hall of Famer. He dates one of them and he turns into a crackhead. So no more Kardashians.
They got to make that a rule. I mean, the Cavs as a whole, though, has just been going. They just have. They're terrible. It's crazy how much LeBron leaving that team has affected just a chain reaction to stuff going on.
Yeah, and I think for the rebuilding process for the Cavs, look at Tyronn Lue. He wasn't a coach. We all knew it. LeBron was the coach. He was the number one player. He was everything. He was the franchise itself. I don't see. Obviously Cleveland's not the most luxurious place that you would want to go play, but without someone like a LeBron James or even a Kyrie Irving, there's really no incentive for a big name to come there to have to do everything on their own. So I don't see Cleveland making any big moves. I see them getting rid of people like Love and Thompson because they're going to have to get back in rebuilding mode to get
Yep.
draft spots.
Mm-hmm.
But they got a long way to go before they can ever be considered, just I guess being competitive in the league.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I completely agree with that. Uh, yeah, I did actually see a notification that just popped up. I think pretty much right before we started this, POTUS for Porter going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that?
I don't know. Like I just saw it come across, so I haven't really read into that. I know that there was rumors earlier today about Jabari Parker as well. The Bulls, they're in the same situation that Cleveland's in, that Miami's in, that the Knicks are in. They're in full rebuild mode right now. They want
Yeah,
their draft picks, and they've got to, but each of them have to start with a key piece to build around, and nobody has that. And nobody, like somebody like Jabari Parker, he doesn't want to stay. You do have Levine that is there. His health has been an issue. He's been kind of in and out. I don't know that he'll stay. It wouldn't surprise me at all if come towards the end of the year they find another spot for him and just offset what they owe him and hope for another draft spot.
yeah, and what I've also noticed a lot with NBA is a lot different from MLB as far as like players' reasonings for staying or going to teams. And I think in the MLB you see a lot less of guys trying to find that all-star team to get
Yeah.
with a bunch of people like them, rather than more being there as a team cohesion in a whole. I definitely see a very different. Well, I think another reason that is there's only uh, half the amount of guys on the court than there is on a baseball field. That might
Yeah.
be part of it too. But
Me and Jimmy had that talk last night. It's funny that you bring that up because you have 9 guys that step out onto a baseball field every day, but you have a team that's so large. So many different factors make up a baseball team with closers, with bullpen guys, even with farm league. You don't know what these guys are going to do day in and day out, when they could possibly get called up, and who's going to be the next superstar. Even if you are a big name guy like a Clayton Kershaw or a Manny Machado or even a Bryce Harper, you can't go out there and win a World Series. You have to have talent around you. And even if it's not overwhelming talent, it's people that get on base and it's just consistent talent. With the NBA, you don't have that. You can have the one guy like LeBron James that takes a team from nothing to competing for championships. And that's what obviously I like more about Major League Baseball is that guys will hang around. They'll go to teams that people wouldn't expect, maybe not as big a contracts, as big market, because they know that anybody can build an MLB team around the talent that's there, and it doesn't have to be off of big name superstars.
yeah,
Look at the
absolutely.
Rockies, for instance. The Rockies don't have that one guy that is like a Bryce Harper, but they could very
Very well
well,
rounded.
yeah, and they could easily go out there and take the West this year.
No doubt. They almost did it last year.
Yeah,
Uh,
got in at wild card, took down the Cubs, and then they were competitive. Obviously, they didn't have what the Dodgers had, but they're a few little
even
pieces away.
even the Dodgers kind of didn't really earn that spot towards the end, and we saw that in the World Series. Maybe
Yep.
they shouldn't have been there, which was the talk of a lot of people were saying. Uh, Even with Manny Machado coming over towards the end of the year, I think I even said it. I was guilty of it, saying he was really going to turn that team for the better. Which, yeah, hey, brought him to the World Series. That's great. But I'm not saying he brought him to the World Series. They end up getting there. But me personally, I didn't see much from Machado affecting the Dodgers playing at all, even when he was on base.
I think that the Dodgers would have ended up in the same spot with or without Machado.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. If anything, I think he affected that team's cohesion because they had to deal with him being, a dirty player and doing things and starting fights. And no one
Yeah.
wants, that type of person on their team.
No, especially with a schedule like baseball where you have to play 160 some odd regular season games. You're constantly with these guys every day, and it's not like you're a pitcher who has to do your particular job once every 4 to 5 days. You're a third baseman. You're out there with those guys day in and day out. You're there for every game, home and away. You're a prima donna. You're fully yourself, and you're a dirty player. Looks bad on the organization. It affects, it's negatively affecting the other guys that are on your team that are trying to do it the right way. So I don't see with that attitude that he's got, big market baseball. I don't know how much they'll go after Machado because I don't think they want the backlash of what he personally might bring off the field.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the issues they're having right now. Even though pitchers and catchers all reported in less than a week ago now, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 9 days or something they report.
Yeah, or wait, I thought they already reported. Oh, is it?
No,
I think they already reported.
All equipment has been reported, so the stadiums and everything are getting ready. Pitchers and catchers report in the next week, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think. Well, like even with Machado, White Sox had a deal on the table and they left it there, and Machado isn't taking it. And a lot of people are saying that he's waiting for Yankees to make him an offer. And will that happen? Maybe, but I don't think the Yankees organization wants someone like Machado.
No.
I mean, obviously that's above my payroll, but I don't see them even. The Yankees are a very established organization already, and all they do every single year is build up more and more. And I don't think they need somebody like Machado added onto that team.
I don't either. And the thing is, like Jimmy and I were talking last night, the Yankees can buy a World Series if they want to. They can go out there and purchase it if they really wanted to. But the thing is, even though the Yankees get a bad rap because their fans are assholes or, the way that the media perceives the Yankees, you look back at past players like Derek Jeter, there was not a better role model for kids, somebody that held himself with integrity on the field every day. They have a lot of those guys right now. Even with, Giancarlo Stanton, I think that he holds himself very well, a lot of respect. Aaron Judge is doing a great job. So what they're building now is the younger, more well-rounded team. And I think with bringing Machado in, who could be, sure, he could be great for the namesake of the organization to bring in money because people want to see Machado, especially stay in the American League. His attitude is going to bring down what the Yankees are trying to build and stay within. And I don't think that they're going to let him and the little bit that I think he could truly bring to the organization, I don't think they want to deal with the headache off the field. So I think with a team like the White Sox, like I said to Jimmy last night, that's probably the best fit for Machado.
That's probably. I definitely have a feeling like that's where he's going to end up going here. Also with that deal being laid on the table. I know there was one other team that was there was talks about him going to. I can't think of it now off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely. I'm going White Sox on that one.
Sure. That's what I think as well. And plus, he's got family that lives in Chicago, and so it's not like he would be going there without anybody. He's got family there. He's familiar with the city. The organization knows that the White Sox are in the perfect spot as far as rebuilding goes. They had truly have wiped out their team. They've got a decent pitching core. Obviously, they're in a depleted division where even still being bad, you can win the division. Just look at the Indians. As poorly as they played last year overall, it was nothing for them to go out there and win the AL Central. I think that the White Sox are going to be eating their tails very shortly. And I think it will start with putting fans in seats by bringing a big name like Machado. So, because Guaranteed Rate Field was not selling any tickets last year. You had games where there was less than 800 people in a place that seats 50,000. That's horrible. So bringing something like that, getting fans excited, that will allow the building process to happen a little bit quicker. They may make some in-season trades before the deadline that will surprise people. And who knows? We could be sitting here at the end of baseball season completely floored by how well the White Sox do this year.
Yeah, and I definitely that is an issue. Baseball season or just tickets overall for the MLB has strongly decreased compared to NFL numbers over the last 5 years, or even in the numbers 15 years ago. And definitely, bringing that sense of excitement back into these stadiums is really what these teams are looking for, not only for money but just for the fans too.
Yeah, because if they don't have it, what's the point? They've got to get people interested back in to the game itself, and that's why I know this is a biased opinion, being a Cubs fan, but I think the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016 somewhat helped save baseball because you have a team that didn't win for 108 years. It was allowing Major League Baseball to make sports history that had never been made before, and it got people back interested. Whether they became a bandwagon fan for the Cubs or whether it got them more interested in their own hometown team, baseball became
Oh,
more
that was,
popular the next year as a whole. You
yeah,
start
I'm talking.
seeing guys being talked about more on
Mhm.
ESPN and their plays versus just what's going on in the NBA and NFL.
No, that's definitely very true. You know, the first time you see any type of headlining news about baseball in a long time was that World Series. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll even say, even myself, like I never really was much of a Cubs fan, but you're just at that point you're rooting for them, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
regardless of
Unless you're
who
just
you're a fan for.
Yeah, unless you're just like a White Sox fan or a Cardinals fan that don't ever want to see them win, the whole world, or an Indians fan because you wanted your team to win, the whole world was rooting for them. The whole sports
Yeah,
world was. So
yeah.
I think that's
Everyone
kind
likes a good underdog, and a good underdog
absolutely.
story is always going to be on top.
It happened with
Uh,
Boston when they won it. It happened with
yeah.
Chicago. And then, it's been a long time since the Dodgers have won it. So when they finally get one, I think it'll be big for that organization too.
If they keep going, they just can't take it.
Yeah.
Uh,
One
I
more
think
year they
another
go
thing.
and don't get it, somebody's gonna light the city on fire.
Oh, no doubt. I'm surprised they didn't do it this year. One thing, talking about these pitchers having to report, it's funny because we have a few guys that are they're also big names out there, not locked into teams yet, and one of them, Dallas Keuchel. I think one of the prime pitchers last year that I focused on when he was up to on the plate, and definitely made us all in the sports betting world a significant amount of money last year, and I'm sure he'll do it again wherever he goes. But I think there's a lot of talk of him going to the Twins right now.
And I
Joining Barros and Gibson out there, and that might actually be a good fit for him.
I do. And the thing is, you're one of the first people that I've talked to that really have looked into that and see the good possibility with the Twins. Last night, I made a prediction with Jimmy on who I thought was going to make American League wild card. And I said I thought the Yankees would be back in the wild card unless they make a big, big move in the offseason. I don't see them being able to take the spot from the Red Sox. I don't. But I said that I thought the Twins would be right there with them. Do I think that they can beat the Yankees? I don't think so. But you just talking about that is a key piece that could like just barely push them over that threshold to get them in the wild card contention. And then who knows where it goes from there. You're a couple of seasons away from being a true contender. And Minnesota, that right there, that's an organization that has spent their money very smart over the past decade. They haven't gone out and tried to do anything miraculous. And here they are with plenty of money to spend. And they're right there on the cusp of getting in my opinion, one of the best pitchers and most underrated pitchers out there.
Yeah, no doubt. And another one, Kimbrel. Kimbrel going back to the Red Sox is what I'm going to say. That would be the best choice for him. And I don't see why they wouldn't take him. Excellent. And even in that closer position with Slane.
And I think they can get him at a decent price too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what he's looking for, but I would think so. I think the only last issue with trades right now is Bryce Harper is kind of like the entire world of MLB looking for. And I know the Giants went out there and had like a huge meet and greet with his family and the coaches and the staff. And I don't like that idea at all of him going to the Giants. And I don't see him doing that. Will it happen? Maybe, but that
I don't
to
know
me,
that
I don't see
going,
it.
but I told Jimmy last night in the podcast the two best fits for him. Number one is Philadelphia. That's the best fit for Bryce Harper. Second to that would be L.A. or San Francisco. I can see Bryce Harper going and doing good things, but I think that Bryce Harper I don't think he wants to play West Coast ball. He wants to play big market, which San Francisco is considered a big market. LA is considered a big market. Philadelphia, even though it's a very big sports market, it's not considered huge market baseball. I really think that Bryce wanted to go to Chicago. I think he wanted to be a Cub. But Theo Epstein basically said, listen, there's no reason that we're going to go spend $300 million for someone that's not going to immediately impact our franchise. Because they've already won a World Series. Anything second to that is not success anymore. Mm-hmm. I think that Bryce would also put on pinstripes and go to New York. But the Yankees are the same way. If you're not going to affect us right now, why spend $300 million? The Giants can spend it, and I think he could help really affect, because overall the Giants are still a very good team. Last year they just couldn't hit. They could not get on base.
Yeah, well, I know the Giants also tried for Stanton last year. pretty hard.
Yep.
And that fell through. And, this might be kind of a repeat of that. But, yeah, I guess only time will tell. But they don't got much time, so.
I think Stan did the right move. Look, listen, I don't agree with the designated hitter position. I think if you're going to allow it in the American League, you should allow it in the National League. I think that it shouldn't be there at all. But for you to get paid the same amount of money and be one of the highest paid people that step up to the plate, and all you have to do is hit, Giancarlo Stanton made the smartest move he could have ever made.
That's true, yeah.
All he has to do is get up there and swing the bat, and he's making millions.
It's a very good point, yeah.
So, what else? Any more trades you like, or any more rumors?
I think that's the brunt of it. I think that those are the biggest ones in between Harper and Machado. I know, I think the Nationals. The only other team maybe I want to talk about is the Nationals. They're bringing back Keckelson. They still have a great lineup with Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin. As far as pitching, the Nationals are going to be definitely up there this year again.
Yeah.
But also losing Bryce Harper, that's also going to hurt them. So maybe if they can get some nice pickups or improve their hitting game a little bit.
I'm interested to see this year is how many people were truly just fans of Harper and not fans of the Nationals.
That's a really good point.
I'm interested to see how their attendance turns out, who's really pulling for them as a team post Bryce Harper.
That they have to be thinking about ticket sales also, just them as a team. That's going to affect, no doubt. There's people that are just diehard Bryce Harper fans. People like the guy. Yeah. And the thing is, that's no doubt people are going to follow him wherever he goes.
Absolutely. And you especially look at young kids. Bryce Harper is like Steph Curry. You get a young kid, he likes the flashy young stud, and that's what Bryce Harper is. It's like Curry. It doesn't matter where you're from as a kid. You look up to someone immediately. Well, you become a fan of that team because of that player. So when Bryce Harper leaves, he could end up going to the Diamondbacks, and kids are going to be wearing Diamondback jerseys everywhere you go with Harper on the back. So I am definitely interested to see what that does to the Nationals fan base and if it solidifies if there ever even was one.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why so many people like Mike Trout also. But when, someone's that young, what was he, I think 19?
Yeah.
When he started coming up, and that it's almost like a little underdog story type thing. Like, man, this guy's young. He's getting into it. He's better than everybody else. It's hard not to like somebody like that, And I think Mike Trout is another guy that's, people will follow him regardless of where he
and I think, and they say, and I've never met Mike Trout. I've seen him play live before, but for the people that I know that have met him at, spring training or even during BP at ball games, say he's the most humble, just nice human being, always takes time out for everybody. And that he really enjoys that small market in Anaheim. So do I think he'll end up somewhere else eventually? Yes, unless the Angels can put some extra pieces. But when they got Ohtani, the second that man stepped on the field, that team changed. So you have Mike Trout, which is the best player in baseball, no doubt. Then you have Ohtani, fantastic pitcher, and is a dual threat behind the plate. So what do you do there? You get one or two more key pieces in place. The Angels are going to the postseason now. If they can get there, I see Mike Trout staying for the long haul. You give it a few more years where free agency comes around and they're still not postseason bound. Yeah, just because he is the best player, he'll have to go find a championship somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. That star players like that, you need to give them postseason. They never make postseason; they're not going to stay there. No. And that's a big thing with the Angels right now. But they towards the end of the season last year, they were doing very well. But they just made so many mistakes.
And started off the season really good. Like, beginning of the season when Ohtani was pitching, Mike Trout was on fire. It was like that lull between...
near the All-Star break.
Yeah, that was when they just kind of... They tanked and, okay, they don't have the talent to keep up with the rest. But I really like the Angels. I like the franchise that they've got running. I think they do it a good way. I hope for Mike Trout's sake and the sake of the organization that's been built out there that they can put some pieces around him, because I would like to see Mike Trout succeed there.
Yeah, no doubt. You want
wants to come to Chicago.
Always. Of course you want him to come to Chicago, Chase. You want to go ahead and hop into we had a free play for these guys also that we're going to combine this video. For everyone watching, we're just going to combine this video into our free plays. It's going to go on mine, Chase's page, and I think we're also going to throw it on Jimmy's too, Chase, if I think we were talking about that, but
yep. So I'll let you take the wheel on this one, dude. So it's a play we've already talked about, but I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so Charlotte against Mid Tennessee. For right now, the spread is sitting at 4.5, favoring Tennessee at home. Over and under sitting at 126. Before we get started into this, it's kind of funny that we pulled this play up, and I was the one who actually mentioned it to Chase, like, "Hey, there's a play I really like for tomorrow," and we talked about it. And it's funny because Chase absolutely hates Charlotte.
I don't just hate them. I just fade the shit out of them. They are
Which
not a
this year,
team to back ever.
which this year you look at them against the spread overall, they're 11-10 against the spread. So you're sitting at just going over and just not even looking, doing any statistics or research, just betting against Charlotte. You're pretty much at 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Not even doing any type of research of what's going on.
And
5-17 overall.
They're
Terrible
terrible.
team.
And the problem is they're a one-man team. They truly are at this point. They
what's his name? That's going
you
to
want
kill
to
him.
say anything, I tell you. But he's a one-man show. He is the one that is having to do everything. Everybody else there is just a body. They're just a filler for him to go out there and do work. And the problem is, even though they're playing in a conference that's not competitive whatsoever, when you have a team that's at full strength with 2 to 3 main guys that can go out there and truly, go the distance and play the majority of the game, this kid can't play 40 straight minutes. He can't play the entire length of the game. And eventually it takes a toll on you, and teams, they break away from you and they end up crushing you. And
Yeah,
that's what happened to Charlotte many times.
Yeah, no doubt. I really like taking home teams in these matchups also, where we see like a lucrative team like Charlotte going up against Mid Tennessee, who obviously they're not the best either, but Charlotte's such a bad team where you're getting home field advantage at 4.5 points just from a statistics side of things. Automatically, the home team is always going to have a little bit of an advantage there because nobody in their goddamn right mind is going to go all the way from Charlotte over to Mid Tennessee to watch some people play.
People don't even go from their dorm in Charlotte to watch Charlotte play.
Davis is that kid's name.
Yeah. Davis, we love you, but God, you got to go somewhere else, dude.
There's another one. I think there's one more kid over there that isn't too bad.
Yeah, but he got hurt. You're talking about he left with a hamstring injury, so he's out till probably the rest of the year. He probably won't come back. It'll come to me in just a second.
It's killing me. I can't think of this kid's name. But yeah. Well, what we're looking at between the 49ers, 4.5 points. We're looking at these teams. A lot of times that their home teams for Mid Tennessee, most of the games they've won have been home games. They struggle in their away games. But that's the same thing with Charlotte. The only games that they really put on any type of show is at home. They're 4-10 for home games. Away, they're 1-7. We look over at Mid Tennessee, 6-8 for home games. Away, they're 1-8. So both these teams struggle when they're away, and a lot of teams. I feel like this is a very weird thing we see with these smaller colleges is that they can't shoot on different people's courts. I see that all the time. It doesn't really make sense to me. A hoop's a hoop, but I'm also not a basketball player. But we see them just being like just much more comfortable at on their home station.
And it's like if you watch teams like Charlotte when they're at home, Charlotte figures out how to rebound. They get second chance shots. They go out there and play like a team. They pass the ball around. They go away. And it's almost like every one of these kids, it's their first time playing, and they get stage fright. And it's easy for, you're looking at a lot of these MAC schools and stuff like that in Missouri Valley, smaller time schools that are not getting national recognition that, obviously people aren't paying attention to. Well, if people aren't paying attention to them and people aren't betting them, why are the odds makers going to put a lot of time into it? They're going to put more time into the games that they know are going to get action. So we get a lot of value here taking these low lines against teams like Charlotte and even fading Mid Tennessee State a lot of the year. But this is a spot where the line's wrong. Anything can happen. It's basketball. We've seen it all year. But if these teams go out there and do what we know that they're accustomed to doing in these situations, Middle Tennessee walks away with a double-digit win.
No doubt. I mean, Charlotte 49ers don't even have an average of over 60 points.
Nope. And the thing is, like you said, away, they cannot rebound. They do not get second chance shots, and they give up as many turnovers as most people get assists. Like the team assist is lower than what the team turnover ratio is in most away games. And that's a statistic that I will not ignore for any team.
No doubt. Yeah, that's huge. Second chance shots are always big in NBA and in college ball. We saw that a lot last night with Pacers. God dang, Pacers destroyed the Lakers last night. That was a big part of that. Is Lakers kept getting the ball back. They missed once. They were going to sink it on the second shot for sure, and just completely shut down the Lakers last night.
Before we, so obviously free play. We are taking Middle Tennessee State 4.5. That's a premium play on my card already locked in. Jack, I don't know about your card yet, if it is something that's on there, but that is definitely our combo free play. So that is a duo. Our heads together. We're on that one. Do you know any of what's going on this evening? Do you have anything to push out as far as your plays before we jump out of here? Let me check and see if I can give out any of mine.
Like for later on tonight?
No, for like anything, like any of your plays for today, wins, losses.
I had 3 plays today. I took Wisconsin, Kings, and the Bulls. Last I checked, the Bulls were crushing, but I haven't. We've been on here for the last 30 or so minutes. I haven't watched any of the games since then. What I did really like tonight was the Bucks, which turned out to be an extremely high scoring game against the Wizards, and I also did like the Nets too. But both those teams had to come out on top. Nets over the Nuggets, but yeah, it is kind of a strange situation there we're seeing with the Nuggets going back and forth between their wins and losses. But right now, Wisconsin's up by 3. Not really much. Pretty close game there still in the first half, and I am going to load the Bulls, and the Kings is a late night game for me.
As far as mine, I don't know how many I can give out. So I gave out my free play for today was in a late game, doesn't start till after 10 o'clock. Premium plays, my top tier play was on Lipscomb. They blew North Florida out of the water, so top tier winner there. I had Maryland over Nebraska. Maryland did go on the road, end up winning by 15. Let's see if Duquesne. I had Duquesne. I don't know what the score was there. Let me see if I can find it. Duquesne ended up falling. They were actually, I think, 2-point favorites. They ended up losing. So 2-1 college basketball. I have the Dallas Mavericks, which are still going on, and I've got a play on Toronto puck line in NHL, which is still going on. So nice. We'll see what happens there, guys.
Yeah, it looks like all the overs are hitting today in NBA. Very high scoring night.
Yeah, I saw that before I turned it off.
Yeah, wow. But I think that's all we got. Went over some trade deal stuff. Talked about MLB a little bit. Really excited for MLB. Man, blew the doors off of it last year. So you want to go ahead and
you were just over 65% for the season with postseason. So we were both over 65% for the year last year. We spent a lot of time going over games. I say between anybody within the team, you and I probably spent more time internally talking about games than it just about anybody. It was pretty much a daily thing. So one more time, guys, the promo, if you're looking for 2 of the hottest MLB guys out there, you found them. $1,500. It's basically buy one, get one free. Each of our seasons are $1,500. You're going to buy one, you're going to get the other one for free. Jack's full season, my full season with postseason. There are going to be days where we're going to disagree on stuff. But on days where you see us, really kind of attack the same things, that's where where you can lay your little bit bigger money. It was very successful last year when we did it, and we plan on going out there and doing even better this year. So both fired up. We may have some spring training announcements coming up for you next week. We'll get farther into that as it gets closer. But one more time, promo $1,500, full seasons, me and Jack. Free play, Middle Tennessee -4.5, and I think that's all I got.
No doubt. Yeah, love it. Like, guys, last year we started the duo thing. Kind of now what we have with the duos are kind of the same plays, but, when we started last year, it was just, the duo cards. And me and Chase talk baseball a lot. I think pretty much every single day almost during the baseball season, we were calling each other, talking about stuff. And, that helps because we, even though both of us had good records last year, both of us have different outlooks on every single game. That's whether it be I'm more of a numbers person, and I think Chase brings a little bit more of common sense and player neutrality into things. So it's definitely awesome to get the other side of other people's thoughts during games, and that's kind of what we do, and that's definitely what made us very successful last year, and hopefully we can help you guys do the same thing.
Yep, and if you guys have any questions about the package, don't hesitate to email me or Jack. Like I said, it will be up on the website tomorrow for you to purchase. If you were thinking about getting it, don't wait. Like I said, we're going to run it till Sunday, but if we hit that 20-person mark, we will pull it down as soon as we hit it, which could be tomorrow night. It could be, it may go all the way to Sunday. We don't know. But if you are thinking about getting it and you have any questions, reach out. But don't, if you're going to get it, I wouldn't wait till later in the weekend because we don't want you to miss out. And this will be the final hoorah that we push before the MLB season starts. So any, true discount you're looking for, this is it. Our packages will be live for $1,500 a piece starting on Sunday. And this is it. Last chance.
That's all for me, Chase.
All right. Well, appreciate you coming on, Jack. We'll do this again very soon. And good luck. God bless. And as always,
Grind on.
See you guys.